So the lender wants to seize the borrower's field, and the dispute between the lender and the borrower is about who gets the produce which is standing in the field now. So obviously, what this boils down to is, at what point exactly can the lender take possession of the borrower's field as repayment for his debt? And the lender says, I want it this very second, and I have all the produce that's standing in it as well. And the borrower says, no, maybe you don't have a right to claim it quite yet. And therefore, I'm going to harvest the field quickly, and I'll get that harvest, which will make my financial position slightly less ruinous than it currently is. So,
Rabbi,
yes.
could I say, you're probably going to come to all this. So the value is the land itself, separate from the actual crops that are on the land, because the value could be on the land itself, because then there's crops every year, or it could be a valuable crop that could be worth something.
That's a very interesting question. They're both true, because the land has an intrinsic value for the produce it makes year on year. And obviously, if you have land with the produce ready to go now, that's more than a land where it's just been harvested and there's nothing there. So and it's that difference which is at issue here between the borrower and the lender.
Yeah.
So the borrower says, you can't claim it yet. I got the harvest for the moment. And then it says, no, it's mine right now. And therefore, I claim it now with the standing harvest.
Yeah.
That's the dispute here. And the guy says, that's a legitimate question. So we'll deal with this very briefly. So we are 1, 2, 3 lines before the big word masnisa, which is the beginning of the next Mishnah. So on Lamed base, and from when can the lender consume or appropriate the produce of this field that he's seizing in repayment for his loan? And it's argued. Rabba says, Michimotya adrachta liyode. And adrachta is a document from the Beis Din authorizing the seizure of the land as payment for the debt. The Beis Din approves it. They give permission to the lender to go and distrain the borrower's assets.
So it's immediate then, and it has to be immediate because he's giving him the if anything he takes out of that is reducing the value, therefore he's not paying the debt back.
Okay, that's a very interesting point. Let's assume then that the field and the produce are worth slightly less than the value of the debt.
Okay.
So he's going to get it all. But if he gets the produce as well, then it's a bit more he's got secured away. But if he because otherwise you're right, if the field by itself is worth the million of the debt, then the produce doesn't belong to the lender anyway. He's got no right to seize it. So he must say that all of it together, let's say, is worth either the loan or slightly less. Yeah, good result. Thank you for that. Okay. So again, from when can you eat the fruit? From when the lender receives the authorization from the court to seize the assets, that's when you can do so. Once witnesses have signed the Beis Din's authorization to the lender to seize the land, then the lender has a right to the land and anything on it, even before he gets it in his hand. When the days of announcement have been fulfilled, have been completed. And what this means is that before the Beis Din allow the lender to seize the field, they try to auction it off to the highest bidder. Because let's say, for example, the lender says, I reckon that field's worth about $500,000. So I'll take that, but you still owe me $500,000. Well, he would see that, wouldn't he? Maybe by auction, you'll sell it off for $2 million. In which case, the lender can claim the field, and he'll owe the borrower £1 million. Or the borrower will sell it to this person prepared to pay $2 million. He'll pay the lender his $1 million back and have $1 million in pocket, which is not bad either. So before the Beis Din will allow the lender to seize the land, they try to sell it at auction. It's like eBay. And it
I,
goes,
I, I know I asked some obtuse questions.
not at all.
The auction, does the best base didn't have a particular auction place that it uses? Does it have to be agreed beforehand? I mean, I don't know if they could. I don't know. I don't know why that's popped into my mind. Is it?
No,
Do they
it's a
have
good question.
particular places?
So yes, they will they will make reasonable efforts to publicize the situation, the fact that the field is for sale, and they say it
Yeah.
goes to the highest bidder. So, you know,
Right.
I wonder how long it would take us to get there. They'll put up a sign in the Dog and Duck and the Rose and Crown. And
Because
I imagine
what I'm thinking,
just for Elliot here for the first time. Elliot, the Dog and Duck and Rose and Crown are two fictional pubs that feature very prolifically in our show. Right? You just have to humor us.
because
Okay.
I'm thinking, Rabbi, that if someone has a potential situation where they're in debt, someone at the auction house who buys it may want to give a bit of tzedakah or something and help it and give actually a better price for it to help somebody else out. And so that's what I was thinking around the auction thing. If there's some type of agreement where someone who has can help someone who doesn't have if they're in a particular situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And it would be a very gracious thing to do to disguise this gift as a sale so that
Yes.
the borrower doesn't feel so embarrassed. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically you put up signs and you have a go, see what the market's doing. It's worth a try. You know, if somebody reckons it's worth a lot, or you know, he really needs it or whatever, or maybe the lender's being unduly ungenerous and deliberately undervaluing the land so that he can get more money. So you're quite right. Okay. So that's basically the end of that Gemara. And we now move on to the next Mishnah. Sure.
Surely even in those days, must have been some organization that values property. The best thing come up with a value or something. If they can't, auction it, somebody must be able to set up a value.
Yeah, I think there would come a point where the price would be so unreasonable one way or the other. They'd say that's a mekatos, and basically presumably has expert valuers for that.
Yeah.
Who would say, you know, that's a deceitful purchase. So, for example, if somebody if everybody vastly undervalues land because they want to get it cheap and maybe set up a cartel to keep the prices down so they can get it at a discount. Because they've got a distressed seller here, so it's worth a try. Basically, will probably be allied to that. Yeah, you're quite right. Yeah. Okay. In fact, when we sell chametz, there's a proviso in the document that says that if there's a dispute as to the value of the chametz that's been sold, then basically we'll appoint independent adjudicators to work out what it's actually worth. It's never happened yet, but it's always the first time. Okay, so we move on now to our next Mishnah, which is and I say this in the most respectful way, a bit of a nightmare. This one gets into, I was just saying to Bobby just before, we're getting into some really funny stuff with this song in all sorts of different ways. So hang on to your hats, and here we go. But, you know, let's have a chat first of all, just for fun. Let's have a chat. Okay, so I'll tell you a story. Once upon a time, I was I'm a farmer. I got this field, and I tend it and I grow it, and come harvest time, I don't keep a cow. It's not with my wife for this one field. But come autumn time, I go next door, and my friends got cows. I hire a cow for a week, cost me £100. I hire one of his cows, and the cow pulls the plow. Pulls the harvesting machine around on my field, and with this cow, I harvest my field. Fine, and I'm paying for a week to harvest the field. £100 to use his cow. Fine, it's worth it for me. It's worth it for him. It's a win-win. Now, just so happens that I had this cow on Sunday. Sunday night, all my friends came from America. And because it's my birthday in the coming week, they made a surprise for me. And in the night, they harvested the entire field for me by hand. And in the morning, I woke up, the field was completely harvested with a little cake and it was saying happy birthday. And that was so kind. So
not knowing that, you would have woke up saying, "Holy cow!"
I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. We've got a lot of holy cow to come, believe me. Okay. Very good, very good. Okay. So here and I've had this cow for a week. I'm not going back on my deal. I'm a nice guy. I've got this cow for a week, 100 quid I pay for it. I don't actually need it. So just think that. So what will I do with this cow? Well, we'll just put it in the field to pasture. I could do that. And then my next door, Alan comes along and says, Alan says he's got a field that also needs harvesting, and he's not got a cow. And he says, can I borrow your cow? So it's not mine; it's actually rented. But I'll do you a favor. You're a good friend of mine. I'll lend you this cow. So I lend Alan the cow that I hired from next door. Okay, Alan is busy harvesting his field with the cow that I hired. I did him a favor, didn't charge him. I'm a nice guy. Alan's good, mate.
I've just got to add. I would probably say to you, pull the other one.
Very good, very good. Pull the other one. And as Alan is busy harvesting the field, all of a sudden, out of a cloudless sky, a bolt of lightning comes, strikes the cow dead, and there's nothing left of it. It is literally, blown to ashes. There's nothing. It's worth not a penny. It's completely vaporized by this great bolt of lightning that comes out of nowhere. So
that's because the cow wasn't wearing a muzzle. Had no muzzle.
Had no muzzle. We're on form today. Okay. So Alan now comes back to me and says, I'm so sorry. The cow got struck by lightning. I know, I was just walking the field. There's nothing left. It's got completely blown to ashes. It just disappeared. Nothing there. Nothing. Just a smoldering patch of burnt earth. That's it. And I said, I'm terribly sorry. But you owe me for that cow. Because if I lend you something for you to use, you borrow something from me, not money, but a thing, you're liable in any event for the loss of that thing, including if it gets involved in a freak accident.
Rabbi, Rabbi, that's force majeure, act of God's, act of Hashem.
Don't care.
Oh.
I don't care. Okay. It's not a question of you being negligent. God forbid. You're being entirely responsible.
Yeah.
You did have a lightning conductor on the cow, but I didn't expect that. Nobody would.
Yeah.
And here's the cow dead. So I say, right, you owe me. At the end of the week, my next door neighbor comes for his cow. So I say, well, sorry, it died. And I'm not liable as somebody who rented the cow. I'm not liable for force majeure, for act of God. That's only if I borrow it for free. And because I rented the cow for you for £100, I'm not liable. So he said, make a shavur, make an oath. So I said, okay, I'll make a shavur. There you go. On the fact that I was not negligent with the cow. I was not negligent with the cow. I did nothing wrong. As a rent,
you don't have to reveal.
I think it's part of the deal. Part of the deal. If I want to rent it, I'm like, I'm within my rights. Yeah, I can do what I like with it. So I give it to my good friend Alan. Alan's a steady, sensible person. He's not going to mess about and use the cow the wrong way. So I say to the renter, I'm terribly sorry. I'll take my Bible oath. There you bring me Sefer Torah. I make an oath on the Sefer Torah. By God's name, goodness me, I did not use this cow the wrong way. I just lent it to Alan, and Alan used it in a fine way. Got witnesses if you want. CCTV, the lot. Struck by lightning out of nowhere. It was terrible.
Will the base then be happy for you to swear it on a Sefer Torah?
Yes. Yeah. So I turn around to the renter and say, I'm sorry, your £10,000 cow is no more.
It's not quite as simple as that, because he lent you the cow for you to use in your field.
Well, he let it to.
Your field is much safer from.
No. The deal was I could let it borrow it on, lend it on 10 million light. It's in the contract. It's in the contract. Absolutely fine. He allows it. I checked with him.
Took it for your field.
Yeah.
He said, I can also.
Yeah. I have bought the use of this cow and I can lend it out to anybody I like.
Why would you? I mean,
if I'm borrowing a machine from you,
Yeah.
I would say to you, do you mind if I lend it to my next door neighbour or whoever if I finish?
Well, if I finish early, I'm allowed. It's a shame to let it go to waste. And my good friend Alan, every night, Alan
So
means
it's nothing to do with the guy who's rented it to you.
exactly. Yeah, so I'll say to him, so I rented it from him for £100. I paid you the £100 up front. The person, Alan, to whom I lent the cow, has given me 10,000.
The guy who gave it to you say, I gave it to you. I didn't give for you to give it to anybody.
That's not true. It says in the contract I'm allowed to lend it to other people. Paragraph.
So the contract says you're allowed to sublet it.
Yes.
Basically. You can sublet it.
Yeah.
So if you can sublet it,
when I have bought the use of this cow.
So you made a contract.
Yeah, we have the guy.
Are you able to claim from the guy you lent?
Alan, you bet I can. So I'm going to say to Alan,
If you're
because
able to charge the one who lent it from you.
yeah, who bought it from me. Yeah.
Then the money he gives you, you have to give it to him.
No. I will say to the lender, say, I'm playing a double game here. To Alan, I say, you borrowed this cow from me, it dropped dead, you're liable, because that's the deal if you borrow something for free. So Alan owes me £10,000.
But he doesn't know that you.
I was absolutely clear. I made it up front. No, I said this is my next door neighbours. I've hired it from him for the week. I've got no secrets.
And you, in the contract, if anything happens to it, you're hired.
Yeah, that's the deal. I got it in writing from Alan. I mean, Alan's a trustworthy guy. I wouldn't need a contract, but I did. I had a contract. Us Rose and Crown guys, we do it properly. So had a contract written out.
not like they're doing the dog and duck. They don't do that correctly.
It's not yours to charge me this money, the worth of the cow.
Sorry, say again.
He could turn around and say to you, you rented it from. So you rented it from.
Yeah.
You're asking him for this colossal amount of money, but it
Yeah.
was never yours in the first
That's
place.
a good question. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we'll have to deal with that. And this is actually the point of dispute in our Mishnah. But the first opinion in Mishnah says like me, that I can, because Adam borrowed the cow from me, he owes me 10 grand. The guy I had it from, he gets 100 quid, which I paid it from. So I'm going to walk away with £9,900 profit. Not a bad day's work. Tax free. Now, maybe capital gains, I'm not sure, but that's okay. I don't pay a bit of CGT. And I'm done. So,
And inheritance tax because it's a farming issue.
very good, very good. Sorry,
It does. That's the way the world is. If I borrow something from you, or you give it, okay, I borrow it from you, and we agree the value of £100, and then because I live in a place where I can get more money, and I sell it for £200, that's fine.
that's business. Yeah.
So where's the argument? Where's the problem?
Well, yeah. Okay, we'll get there. Okay, so this is our case. So I, as the person who rented the cow and then lent it on, I'm saying, Alan owes me 10 grand. I owe him 100 quid. That's it. So I walk away with 9,900. Actually, that's not bad. And a birthday cake. How about that?
Could ask for the internet to do such a thing.
Okay. So you're talking about Rav Yossi and Shmuel. So you got some back up there. We'll see exactly how that works. Rav Shimshon Mishant is going to explain what you say a bit more. All right? It feels wrong. And in fact, Rav Yossi is going to say just like you in a second. Let's have a look at the Mishnah and we'll talk this through. And it sounds outrageous, but this is what it is. It's going to get worse as we go along. Okay? So let's look at the Mishnah first. If somebody hires a cow from his friend, and then he lent it for free to somebody else, and it just died. It says it died in normal, so it just killed over from old age. I think got struck by lightning. I like a bit of drama. Okay. The person who hired the cow should make an oath to the person from whom he hired it that the cow died in a normal way, not through negligence. And then the borrower has to pay the value of the entire cow to the person who rented it. How about that? So the person who hired the cow is absolutely quits in. He's laughing. Drinks on him tonight. That's amazing. Amar Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi said, he's outraged. He says, it's at halal. He says, how can this person who rented the cow do business with his friend's cow? It's not his cow to make money out of, just like you're saying. And we have to work out exactly how that works. Ella, rather, the value of the cow goes back to the owner, which is the person who let the cow out.
Rabbi, who actually, if he sublet the cow to his friend, is there a difference if he's taken money or if he hasn't? So has he charged to sublet it? Is there a difference if he's charged or if he hasn't charged?
There absolutely is a difference. Yes, thank you for raising it. So if the person who rented the cow then sublet it for money, then the person who rented it from him is only liable for theft and negligence. But he's not liable for an act of God or if the cow just drops dead.
Well, yeah, but you take it to the next stage and say the cow's dropped dead. Forget the act of God for a second. The cow's dropped dead. I paid you for rent, and I've just forward sold all my crop here that this cow's going to help me pull the thing and harvest it, and I've lost all this money. In fact, I owe this guy because I borrowed some money against the harvest, and your cow's dropped dead in the field. In fact, you owe me money.
So you'd have to have something in the contract about that.
Yeah.
But in principle, I suppose the person who leased the cow would say, I leased the cow as it is, and if there's something wrong with it,
it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Buy as seen.
Yeah, I'm giving it to you in a reasonable way. If you stake your entire livelihood on the health of this cow, that's on you.
No, buy as seen. That's how they do. That's how they do business.
Yeah.
Very different place.
They're not going to start having all sorts of hyphenated liability clauses. No.
Right.
This is the deal. But rent the cow, don't rent the cow, leave me alone. That's it. You're renting the cow, do what you like with it, but I want it back out to win. I want the money. That's it. They're a mercenary lot, I'm afraid.
But then I want my money from the guy that lent it to him.
So the person who rented the cow said, "Well, I lent it." So if he lent it for nothing, if the person who rented the cow lent it for nothing to his friend, then we say kol hanot shaloi. The person borrowing the cow from the renter is getting all benefits. He's getting the use of the cow for free, and in exchange for that enhanced use of the cow, he has a higher liability. Even if the cow drops dead, it's not his fault. He's still got to pay it back. That's what the Torah says. So
I think that's right. I agree with that totally.
Okay. So you're with the first opinion in the Mishnah, and Rev Levin's with the second. Okay, fair enough.
I agree with Colin.
All right. Let's go into it a bit, and we're gonna make a little bit more sense of this.
When I explain to the people in the office when I go back what I've learnt that lunchtime, which I do nearly every week, usually I'm saying it depends. That is what I always say to them.
Yeah, because it does. It's so tricksy. Yeah. All right. Let's have a look at the Gemara, which is going to explain the mission in a bit more detail. Because the Gemara has a good question. So you see, it says Gimel Mem in big letter at the beginning of the line. Here we are. Amar Rav Idi bar Avin Abaye. Rav Idi bar Avin said to Abaye, Mechti, let's see. Seicha, b'may kani lahai para. How does the renter acquire the cow such that he can then charge the borrower for its loss as if he was the owner? Because originally, the renter did not own the cow. He rented it. Doesn't mean it's his. He bought the use of it for a week. Doesn't mean it's his. So how can he all of a sudden turn around? How can I all of a sudden turn around to Alan as if I was the owner of the cow and say, pay me back for my cow? Alan can say to me, it's not your cow. Why am I paying you for it?
Because I've got to pay the guy that I borrowed it from.
So you're going to say that by virtue of lending the cow to Alan, I'm like the owner.
Well, you're responsible. You lent it to him, but you're not the owner of it. The person that's the owner of it is now going to come to you and say, "Where's my cow?" And you'll say, "Well, actually, I lent it to a friend. It died." And you say, "Great. Well, I didn't lend it to your friend. I don't know about your friend. You owe me the money."
Well, I'll say, I'm so sorry. It died of a natural cause, and I'm not liable for that because I only rented it.
I know, but you rented something and it died. So
I'm not
you still
liable.
owe me.
If I rent
You
it,
owe me.
if I rent it and it drops dead, that's not my problem.
But it died in your. Whilst I lent it to you, it died in your. Once you had it, it was down to you.
No, that's not true. I as a renter, I'm not liable if it drops dead.
That's the deal you did in the dog. That's a dog and duck deal. That's not a Rose and Crown deal. Rose and Crown deal, we'd have definitely rounded that off.
There's a reason why most of this happens in a dog and duck.
I can see.
Okay, come on.
No, it's all right. It's okay.
Okay. So, yeah.
There is one possible answer. If I borrow a cow from you,
Yeah.
now I should keep it, use it in a safe place.
Yeah.
If there's lightning and so on, it will not, then it's my fault. I should really.
So I made this very clear. I didn't make it as clear as I should have, to be honest. Let me then clarify. This lightning could have been predicted by nobody. It was just an astounding out of nowhere. It was a cloudless sky. It was the middle of summer. It was a beautiful day. You know, the pundits are taking 1,000 to 1 against there being a thunderstorm today. And out of nowhere, this lightning strike just hit. I don't know what happened. Like the Tunguska event, it's like crazy out of nowhere. Or it was hit by a meteorite. There you go. Out in the sky, cloud sky. This rock from Mars shot down into the world, and it smashed into this cow.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Let's call that an act of God then.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
It's an act of God. It's an act of God.
Rabbi.
Just a second. Sorry.
And the lightning hits.
Yeah.
Then I'm not right.
Yeah. So sorry, Danto, you were saying.
I was going to say that's real galactic Judaism for you.
Absolutely. Right at my feet. Yeah. Okay, so here's our situation. So Rav Idi Bar Ovin says, here's a funny thing. The renter wasn't the owner of the cow. He rented it. What makes him become able to claim the cow from the borrower, the person to whom he lent the cow for free? How's he changed? Well, the Mishnah says he can. That's a problem. The Mishnah says he can. So Rabbi Idi Bar Ovin says, I actually know the answer to my own question. Let's have a look again. Mechti, the end of that first line says Gemara. Mechti, let's see. Seicha, the renter, but my koni lahai pora. How did he acquire this cow? How did he become the owner to be able to claim the value of the cow from the borrower? And he says, I know what it is. It's bishvua. Because the original owner of the cow comes to the renter in high dudgeon and says, where's my cow? And the renter says, I'm sorry, it dropped dead. I've got witnesses. So the witnesses was, yes, it dropped dead in Yenam's field. So the renter says, right. So the lessor, the person renting it to me says, make an oath, and I make an oath. Based in dismiss the person who hired the cow out to me. Now then, I've made my oath. What's my situation now? I've made my oath. The basin dismissed the masker, the person whom I paid to rent his cow.
Says so. You have no argument.
So what is my relationship now with this dead cow? Now that
and was like, then looking at God.
sorry? Aha! Bavi. Now that I've made my shavua, not just Bavi, Rav Idi Bar Ovin as well. Can I know? So Bavi says, and Rav Idi Bar Ovin, once I've made that oath to the lessor, the person who hired the cow out to me, he goes away because I'm not liable if the cow dies to him because I rented it from him. He goes away I'm now like the new owner. So that
So if you
means
pay the £100 and
that's it, and I can claim the 10,000 from Alan. So Rav Idiba Ovin has a clever idea. He says, let's go through it again. Mehdi, how do we, let's see. Seiche, the renter, but my Koni Lahai Pora, how does he acquire this cow? Bishavua, by making the oath to the original owner of the cow that the cow dropped dead of natural causes. So Rav Idiba has a bright idea. He says, V'neimole maskina seiche. Let the original owner of the cow say to the renter, Dal ant, the dal shavua seich. I don't want to hear from you, and I don't want to hear from your oath. Go away. I'm not talking to you. La la la. I'm not talking to you at all. Because once the hirer, once the renter has made his oath to the original owner of the cow, the original owner of the cow has to go away, and the hirer becomes like the new owner to claim the money from the borrower.
What if there's no witnesses?
You're right. Then it'd be a different matter. But we're saying these are the facts. There must be. You're quite right. There must be. So Ravida Ba'avin is saying all the original owner of the cow has to do is say to the renter, I do not want to talk to you. I'm not going to meet you in Beis Din. Go away. You go down to Duck and Duck. I'm going to meet Alan in the Rose and Crown. I'll ask you for my money. Because Alan borrowed my cow. So how can the Mishnah say with such certainty that the renter collects the money from the borrower? Let the original owner of the cow say, I'm not doing business with the renter. Terribly sorry. He ain't got my cow. I'll ask him for it. He's not got it. So I'm not talking to him. So now I go direct to the borrower, I go direct to Alan. And now the renter's out of the picture because I'm not talking to him. I'm not going to hear his shavur, his fancy oath on the Sefer Torah. I'm not interested. I go direct to the borrower, claim my money from him. Because until the renter makes his oath, it's not his.
Okay.
Mine.
Rabbi, you're always saying in our previous lessons about the oath being the real last resort.
Yeah.
And really, we shouldn't. It's something if we can avoid, we shouldn't ever have to use.
Yeah.
So what is it any different in this case?
No, it's just the same. We've got no choice. That is the procedure. If the renter says that he didn't do anything wrong with this cow, it wasn't stolen, he wasn't negligent, then that's the only recourse we have. We impose a shavur on him. And the renter says, fine, I'm making nothing. I'm not fussed. I'll do it. Conscience is clear. I don't mind. Hold my beer.
And he's making it totally in good faith in that moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. We didn't do anything wrong. He's lent
No.
it. He was allowed.
Yeah.
So, I think but that's right, because otherwise he would sell it. So then you'd have that. Then it would be a difference if he'd sold it to the guy. If he sold it to Alan, I said, well, I'm not renting it. I'm buying it. I'm giving you X amount. I'm buying it, and then lent it to his friend. Then the first guy who received the money, the original lender or the owner of the cow, is out the deal. So now, so there's a big difference between lending something and owning something, but it doesn't. But only in this case, because there's still if you borrow and what's the difference between borrowing it and lending it? Because it seems that the liability is the same.
So do you borrowing and lending or do you renting and lending?
Renting and renting. No, buying and renting. Buying or renting.
If I buy,
it's done if you buy it.
If I bought the cow from my neighbor, he's out of the picture.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So why do they rent it? Why do they not just sell it?
Do you want to buy it? I don't have a cow lurking around my house all year long. Can't be bothered. I'll just rent it for a week when I need it. I don't need it the rest of the year.
I'm a very difficult man to deal with. Very difficult man to negotiate with.
I'm a bit of a grump. I'm sorry. You're wanting to, Colin. So, again, Ravida Ba'avin says the thing that gets the original owner of the cow out of the picture is when the renter makes his oath that he didn't maltreat the cow and that the borrower didn't maltreat the cow. Once he said that,